guess so.
Smiley and shit.
We got everything going right. I don't know. I think so. Don't you never hear it?
That's not us.
Because I forgot to do that.
That's not us.
Come here,
Smiling.
you. Smiling. There we go.
Yay.
Forgot to do that.
Yeah.
Hi.
I'm firing him. I'm firing him like that.
I knew there was a button I forgot to push.
There always. Hello, everybody. This is Lee and Paul from Relationship Rehab. We are also the writers of what?
Couple though,
Yeah,
amongst other things.
amongst other things. How are you? We are on the last day, thank God, of spring break.
Yeah. Yes.
And,
We're very happy about that. Yeah.
really can't wait for Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And, it sounds mean and whatever, but,
No, it's not mean.
well,
They need to be educated elsewhere.
and not this kind of education. Yeah. Like, for example, right now, okay, because our oldest is at her little therapy retreat thing.
Right.
So she's been gone since yesterday, but she's been a pill and a half all week
Mm-hmm.
because she got sick and blah, blah. So she's been a pain.
Yeah.
Now we've got the two youngest who are currently watching Ghostbusters 2. Now, here's the problem. Because I do suffer from TV ADD, do you know what that is?
I do.
I know you know what that is. You know, like when there's a TV on, I kind of like have to drift in to see what's going on. Because Ghostbusters 2 on, I might not be paying attention to it.
If you see her kind of get slack-jawed and her
Glazy.
eyes, yeah, that means that she's watching Ghostbusters, and we'll bring her back. We will. Yes.
Plus, the good part of today is I have nothing to talk about.
No?
Ain't my week.
Oh, what are we talking about?
You're talking about husbands. I have nothing to say.
No.
Like
you have a
advice
bunch
for
to
husbands?
say.
I have nothing to say.
Your job is to say,
Paul
that
wrote
your
the week.
husband is a wonderful husband. And
Paul wrote the week. I have not written one word for this week, so I have no opinion on the
This one.
subject.
None? Wow.
Nothing.
You usually have an opinion on most subjects.
Yeah. I have an opinion on shit that I don't even know about. But that's just me.
Yeah.
But I'm injured.
Oh yes, she burned herself.
Yeah, big time. It's
Pretty good too. Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah, you can actually see it even
Actually,
on this.
Wow, you
Yeah.
can. There it is.
Yeah. That's
It's,
a good.
anyway,
Yeah, boiling oil and
Boiling oil.
fishing it out herself. Yeah.
what? How do you cook? Let's see. So what else is going on?
Came back from New York.
Came back from New York. Did our
Mhm.
show in New York last week. That was a lot of fun.
That was.
We had a very good time.
Mhm.
We got to see a show called Fuerza Bruta, which
Mhm.
was amazing.
Yeah.
So if you ever get a chance to see it because it was very cool.
Mhm.
Other stuff that's happened, of course, the stuff in Japan and wow.
Yeah.
That's all I could say is wow. Everybody relax, send good thoughts and good vibes to them, and have the most positive intentions, and don't freak out, and don't go buy iodine and take that, and don't. We need to keep our heads.
Yeah.
This is what we tend to do. We tend to freak out. So deep breaths.
Mhm.
Deep breaths.
Yes.
What else? Anything else? Anything else? We're still waiting to find out about our daughter in college, and
That's driving us crazy.
that's been driving us crazy. So, like I said, chill out, relax, take your own advice. She's already in one.
Yes.
That's a good one, but we wanted her closer
Mhm.
because she's special. She's
She's our daughter.
she's our daughter. One, that makes her special. And two, she's got her issues and like being blind and deaf and having Asperger's. So I'd feel a lot more comfortable if she weren't 13 hours away from us.
Yeah.
funny.
saying.
Just saying, yeah. So, and those are things we're dealing with.
Yes.
Those are things we're dealing with. So, without further ado, husbands.
I'm one.
And the secrets to being a good husband. Now, I have to say, I will tee this up and say, Paul's a great husband. And I'm not just saying that because I'm saying it. It's because all the women around us say that. You know, that's my sister when she got, of course, here comes Ricky.
More popcorn.
When my sister, here, go make
Is
them
there?
more popcorn.
Okay. Go ahead. Start talking.
When my sister got
Go sit down.
divorced from her first husband, who was
Go sit
a
down.
pill and a half, the guy was uneducated, well, is uneducated, he's not dead. Uneducated, how do you say that? Not considerate.
Go sit down.
He was a jerk for all intents and purposes. And they were married for a long time. They were married like 17 years, and they dated for 4 years before that. And when she finally broke up with him, she was, she said, she goes, I want a man like Paul. Which was kind of surprising because her husband was so the opposite of Paul. I mean, really the opposite of Paul. Whereas Paul was, intelligent, this guy was an idiot. Where, Paul was tall, this guy was short. Where, Paul was easygoing, this guy said no to everything. Everything. I mean, it's like, hey, do you want to do? No. Everything was no. There was no, he never said yes. And so anyway, and most of the women we've ever hung out with have always said, Paul's the man. So he has some secrets that aren't really secret-y much on how to be a good husband. See, last week we talked about being a good wife. And I think that, okay, anything else here? We got popcorn going, we got the water going. Okay, Ricky, go. Life. Anyway, some of the secrets of being a good husband and being a good wife is being a good spouse. And you bring that out in each other. And the better we are with each other, it's hard for a good husband to be a good husband in a vacuum. It's hard for a good wife to be a good wife in a vacuum. Because sooner or later, you get tired of being good. Yes?
Yes.
That's Mr. Popcorn Maker, or the good husband. So, just waiting and waiting for the popcorn. Okay. What else? Okay, because next week, I'll just go ahead and just start talking about next week because these aren't my things. Okay, actually, I'll start it because, okay, fine. First thing that Paul talked about on Monday, PR. The PR that husbands get sucks. Now, I don't know, if you watch TV, if you watch movies of any kind, this is the kind of PR that a husband gets. One, most men are considered to be miserable being married. Hiya. Most men, it's like the moment that you marry, that, a part of them dies and whatever. And whatever movies you watch now, last night I was watching a bit of the Hangover, and the Bradley Cooper character talks about, marriage is this, marriage is horrible. And he's the only married guy of the four guys. And so he's talking, it's like, oh yeah, you're just going to die when you get married and blah, 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 blah. And then at the end of the movie, you see him hugging his wife and squeezing his kid and all that gut. So, I don't know, someone's like, we don't do the chat stuff like that, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't do direct chats. Especially during the show. It's a live show.
Yeah. So, anyway. So the idea is, he's he talks crap about being married, and yet you look at him, and he doesn't look unhappily married.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's an act, and it's all an act. That it's like if all husbands were unhappy, there would be no marriage. It's not like we live in,
Right.
like 1,000 years ago where there was no real thing like divorce or things like that. You can get divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, Jesus Christ. Anybody?
I don't know what.
Goodbye, Mr. Young Model. Or so, and bye-bye.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
So anyway, that PR is bad for husbands.
Right.
Yeah, that is it is the worst thing because what it does is like for the not so wily women, it gives women a bad idea of what a husband's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Take it.
Oh no, it's one. I don't actually know any of those kind of guys. It is the PR. It's the all guys are shit and don't want to be husbands and all that kind of stuff. I don't know any of those husbands though. I don't know any of those men. Even the asshole ex-husband liked being a husband. He likes being in a relationship.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
His way.
Right. Whether or not it had anything to do with he was an asshole. Okay. With or without a woman in his
Being
life.
a husband doesn't really.
Right. He was
change
still an
that.
asshole. So it really had nothing to do with husbandness on his part. It's just what he was.
His way of being.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people look for enlightenment. He just looked for better ways of being an asshole.
Right. So I don't know. Most of the guys I know are either good husbands if they're married, or are would like to be good husbands. Andy.
Yeah.
Okay, without giving a last name, but the first name. If you're, this is a good guy who, eventually, once he finds the right woman, is going to make a really good husband.
Right.
And he wants it. It's not like it's he's doing the no.
No, I don't want to settle down.
Right, yeah. No, he's looking for the right woman. He just statistics. I
well,
guess.
no, because remember when he was engaged?
Yeah. He was engaged with not the right woman,
No.
in our opinion. I think in his
It was so
opinion
sad.
at this point too.
Yeah. He knows now.
Yeah.
But good Lord, I mean, everybody just did one of the not Andy with that woman.
Yeah.
Most husbands are characterized as being non-participatory and predatory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So non-participatory that, basically, and actually this is the way that we've arranged marriage in this world, that for men, marriage is a part of their life, tends to be big. And this week, that's a next week talk. That's a big conversation for next week. Because that's but the predatory thing is that men are always on the make.
Mm-hmm.
I think most men that I've ever talked to and worked with and realized I used to work with sex offenders don't like being on the make and being on the prowl.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, yeah, and it's so much easier. The chick's right there.
Yeah, I mean that's it's a lot easier. Just come on, we're having sex now. And even if you're
so romantic too,
and even if you're busy and tired and you've got the kids and all that kind of stuff, if you do the hey, we're gonna go have sex now, 7 days out of the week, and you only hit 1 day out of the 7, you're still doing better than the guy going to a bar.
That's true.
I mean,
statistically, more men have more sex when they're married.
Yes.
Than when they're out and about.
Yeah. So the whole on the make and on the prowl and all that kind of work.
See that
really
that
hard.
just shows a different side of it. Now, I know that there's a lot of talk about that sex addiction isn't a real addiction and that that's bullshit and that's just the excuse that guys or girls give when they get caught cheating and all that. It's very real. Mm-hmm. And unless and I think that most people who would say that it's not real probably are sex addicts.
You're right.
And don't acknowledge it, there's something very compulsive about having someone to have sex with at home. Mm-hmm. And having the need to conquer somebody else.
Right.
And that's sick. Mm-hmm. That's like it's like, and it's hurting you. That it's hurting you. It's like if you are in a relationship and you have a normal, healthy relationship, and I'm putting that in quotes because very few people do. But you guys get along, you have sex, once or twice a week, everything's great, and then you still feel the need to go and have sex outside of the relationship. You're sick. Now, that people can't acknowledge that Tiger Woods was a sex addict or is a sex addict, then you have no concept of what normal is. Mm-hmm. I doubt that he wasn't having sex at home. I think he was having sex at home.
So. Yeah.
And his wife seemed to love him. Mm-hmm. If not, she wouldn't have showed as much rage.
Yeah, that's right. Right up till he tried to kill him.
and then to be not, how many women did they count at the end of it all? Like 13, and they were only married a few years.
Yeah.
That's significant, and some of them are steadies.
Right. Now, see, when we're talking about being a good spouse in general, husband, wife, I don't think we're not talking about being perfect.
No.
And that's also one of it is true. But that is one of the, I think that the problems is the, one bad apple,
because they get so much publicity.
Yeah, right. That's the, Tiger Woods is suddenly the model of all men.
Right. Tiger Woods, because they all came out at the same time. It was David Letterman, Tiger Woods, and Jesse James all came out at the same time of cheating.
Right.
And not just cheating, but at least with David Letterman was cheating. She was an intern, if I'm
right.
I think
so.
Mm-hmm. So somebody at a lower station than him, which shows kind of an abusive, bent to it, and then Jesse James and Tiger had the multiple lady.
Yeah, right.
Tiger had the, there isn't a waitress or, a bartender that I wouldn't bang, and Jesse James, tattooed stripper.
Mm-hmm. And that's what, okay, now this could get me in trouble. This is kind of a thought right now, but
go for it.
I don't know that Jesse James, for example, is a bad husband. Okay? I think he's got a problem.
Right.
But notice, the way he handled the problem, so to speak. Mm-hmm. He was repentant. He was really repentant.
Yeah,
okay? He was, oh my God, I have just ruined something really important to me.
Right.
That's, I don't think that he's a bad husband. Okay? He's maybe a sexual fuck up. He might be, there's all kinds of things to call him. But it's like putting him in he had an affair, therefore he's a bad person.
Right.
It's like, I don't know that that's necessarily true. Okay? And realize, Lee and I are definitely the, I will kill you if you ever have an affair type of people. This is not something we would condone in any way, shape, or form. But I don't know.
But it's not our place to condone or not to condone. Right. It's like, it's not for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to judge people who do that. It is very unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a commitment, then we believe that you should be honoring your commitment. And if you can't, then you should renegotiate that commitment or sever the commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that is, but being honest is more important. But Yeah, I mean, there was something about Jesse James that I would not put him in the Tiger Woods category.
Right.
I wasn't willing to
And
do
I
it.
think that, I mean, this all kind of goes back to the husband PR.
Right.
You know, it's like every human being messes up. Some bigger than others, but
Right.
you know, you mess up. And if my claim to fame is to be a mess up, then that's going to be that's my PR. I don't think that that's going to be my claim to fame. My claim to fame might be getting through the mess ups, learning from them would be a great one. You know, I like it if people know that. You know, that would be great. But you know, if all of my PR is that I screwed up, then no.
Well, here's the thing about husbands that I think this is probably one of the things that you didn't get to write about this week, but I think that it's kind of like what.
More coffee, why?
No, you're good. Wait.
Okay.
On Thursday, he talked about pride, and I think that what he didn't mention was the need to be in control.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's part of the PR that
yeah.
men have, is the need to be controlled, to be the head of the household, and you know, to you know, bring back the good old days of you know, I'm the boss, you do what I say because, you know, I'm the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because we started straying from that. Society strayed from that, and we started getting into more of the partnership concept and all that. And then, and now I'm going to piss people off because it's my turn, you know, the whole Christian stuff came up. And what was that father group?
The Promise Keepers?
Oh yeah, those assholes got together. The Promise Keepers got together and decided, we need to take back our families because the reason why they're falling apart is because we're not doing our job. Yeah, it's true. You probably weren't doing your job,
right.
But it's in being a family. And in being a family, it means a togetherness. It didn't need a boss. It needed, more cohesion and more communication.
Yeah.
So now you've got this whole section of society that is trying to pull this, daddy's the boss thing again. And I'm the head of the household. And actually I have a cousin who's Christian and her husband, every time we get together, has to give us a speech about how he's the head of the household and the pressure that he has because he's the head of the household. And I think Paul and I sit there like stunned little, deer because we're all the same age. We all got married like 6 months apart or something like that. And their marriage couldn't be more up.
Oh yeah.
And he's so oblivious to it because he's got it now. He's in charge, and I think that that's really just a wonderful perch to sit on, so that you don't have to see anything. Mm-hmm. I have laid down the law. Follow it. That's really where he is, but he does it compassionately because he's a man of God. But. I could say something, but I'm not going to say something.
Yeah, there's so much.
Anyway, there's so much to say. There's when we have that kind of dynamic in a family where the man or the woman, it doesn't matter, decides that they're going to be the boss. It really limits how strong a relationship can be, and I think that's just pure physics. If you think about it, what's going to be stronger? A building that has the one on top and then the ones underneath cowering, or when all of them are just all standing together. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very healthy. And I don't think I've ever seen a very healthy family that has that kind of configuration.
Yeah, either have I. And it's interesting because we do, I do believe in the, a man should be a man and a woman should be a woman thing. Viva la difference.
Viva la
difference, yes.
The
I
difference,
said it that way. Yes.
Wow.
Like, you want to say it pretty?
No. No.
I wasn't even going to try.
And his last name is Fournier.
Yeah, I know. No,
Yeah.
it's Fournier.
It's Fournier. I swear to God, they took all the pretty out of that name.
I know. Don't you think that each woman decides what kind of husband they want?
No, she doesn't like it. She's full of crap.
Yes.
That's the thing. And most women don't like it. Most women end up resenting the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is that, okay, part of your head says, let's say that you are Christian, or, you grow up in a household where your dad was the boss and what. So part of you says that, okay, the only way this family's going to work is if it looks like what I grew up with, or what the church is saying that I should have. So you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. Meanwhile, internally, you start resenting that partner, because we are made like that. If you think about being in school, why are teachers hated? Teachers are hated specifically because they're the boss of the classroom. For no other reason.
Right.
They could be great teachers, but there's always a resentment because someone's the boss. When you have a boss at work, there's always a resentment because they are in charge of you. Why do we hate the president? I don't particularly, but why do people attack the president? Because there's a resentment. They don't like being bossed around. Why do we have issues with God? Because we don't like being bossed around. So when women say, oh no, I just love it when he's in charge, what they are is, one, they're being chicken shit because they're not taking responsibility for their family. Two, they're secretly resenting the man that they put in that position in the first place. Okay, and they allowed him in that position. And three, this goes back to, the woman, the wife makes the husband and the husband makes the wife.
Right.
So then she becomes this subservient, resentful woman, and he becomes a tyrannical boss who has to make all the decisions because she's not willing to. And then it's like, and they both end up resenting each other.
Oh yeah, big time.
So that's a dynamic that we create. It's like, when people say, oh no, but we're perfectly happy, like, I like this arrangement. Bullshit.
This is the problem of living in an unexamined life.
Yeah, this is like and those are the same people that won't ever try to look in. Don't ask me any questions about what's going on inside of me, because you don't want to know. And if you knew, and that's really the secret of most people out there that are unwilling to look inside, is this secret. If you knew anything about me inside, you would not like me. Yeah. That's the secret. I know your secret. Go ahead. Yep. So go ahead and go to therapy now. Yeah. Everybody knows your secret. I've already put it out there. How many people? 213 people know your secret now. That's right. And God knows how many millions will watch us in the future. So go out there and do something about it. So, yes, hopeful girl. There are a lot of women who choose to have husbands like that. They just don't like it. Yeah. And I don't give a crap. When people say to me, oh, but I'm so happy this way. Bullshit. Bullshit. Because even this cousin of mine, who I know never watches this anyway, is not happy. Yeah. And I know this for a fact. She just told me. Okay? So, and I said I wouldn't say anything. But you don't know which husband. I have lots of cousins.
Yes, true.
Lots of them.
Many of them are unhappy.
Paul has one cousin. Yeah. And it's not even a cousin.
Not really. Yeah, that's true.
She's not even really technically her cousin.
No.
No. She's not happy either.
No.
Just saying. These are actually my cousins. I think out of all of my cousins, maybe one is happy.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe one is happy in their marriage. Because they have a partnership.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas the other ones are all...
See, the thing is, okay, we've talked about the whole, what's it called, soulmate thing. And from a psychological point of view, you're looking for somebody who's going to challenge an issue within you. The problem is if you marry that person, then all you end up with are the challenges and the challenges and the challenges. If you go into a marriage like that, basically you've got a person,
it's like marrying your personal trainer.
Yeah, right.
The person you resent.
Uh-huh.
You getting that? It's like, this is why therapists aren't allowed to marry their clients.
Yes.
Or even date them.
Uh-huh.
There's something just sick about it. That's why it's like, you don't work out. I mean, telling a guy or having, feeling comfortable, as a husband, having your wife just follow directions. There's something that you need to work through.
Yeah.
And something serious that you need to work through.
And for the guys I know who have examined themselves, their life, their mind, most of them have figured out that they don't want to be in that position.
It's exhausting.
You're right. It's tiring. It's not fulfilling.
No.
Being the great rescuer of the day and always being, coming in with the cape and making everything right and
taking complete responsibility for the family. So that means that all success and all failure is on him, and it's usually all failure is on him. That's always the bottom line.
We don't have a lot of examples.
Neither do we.
Yeah.
Neither do we. And and the reason why is because everybody's trying to work out their shit with their partner. It's like, we don't get that when we walk into. I mean, it's like I was just explaining this to somebody the other day. It's like STDs. Like when we say when you have sex with somebody, you're having sex with everybody they've ever had sex with. When you get married to someone, you're getting married to every issue that person has.
Right.
And they're marrying every issue you have. So sometimes your issues and his issues will clash. Bottom line, if you want to have a healthier relationship, go to therapy. I'm not saying do couples therapy. By the time you get to couples therapy, you've wasted a lot of time.
Yeah.
Go
handle your shit.
Go handle your shit. I think that it is 1,000,000 times healthier for a relationship. And I used to do couples therapy, and I used to work with. It's just there was so much to deal with, and most of it was, okay, you've got this issue with your mommy that you need to deal with. You've got this issue with your mommy you need to deal with. So why don't you guys
go deal with it?
Go to your own corners and deal with your mommy issues. Because this will be a lot better without all this crap from between, and all those issues that you guys are dealing with. And there are many issues. Many.
And see, actually, I need to kind of reframe some of this because it really goes back to what we're saying. It's like, yeah, there are a bunch of good examples of happy marriages out there.
They just don't say it.
Yeah, no, but it's the PR. It's the happy marriages don't sell. They don't. TMZ is not going to do the celebrity couples who are happy column. It ain't gonna sell. There's couples out there, celebrity couples who have been married 50 years at this point, and they seem very, very happy. But you don't hear about them all that often. The only time you're going to hear about them is when one of them goes and starts fucking their intern, and destroys it.
Or doing blow off a hooker's ass. There you go.
So, it really is about PR. There are happy, good husbands out there.
It's always the PR it's that negative PR, and you always have the, marriage is something that breaks you. Actually, there's a good show on now, and a really funny show called Perfect Couples. It's on NBC. And very funny show. And it shows people being happy and working through their stuff. And very funny. And I really enjoy watching it because you don't have that negative feeling about what marriage is. If we think back to like some of the TV shows that they've subjected us to, Things like Married with Children. What a holy Holocaust it was, you know. Was it All in the Family? You know, good God, tyrant and asshole. He was a funny guy. You're like, oh wow, you know how funny that is. But those are the families we're watching. Look how long they lasted on TV. You know, I mean, it's like if you think of Mike and Carol Brady, you think, God, they're boring, whatever. But every time they showed them in bed, now granted, we found out later that Mike was gay, but every time they showed them in bed, they were about to get down. You know? And now we think about that like, oh my God, that's so unreal. No, it's not.
Right. They were normal.
They were more normal. Whereas people like, you know, Ted Bundy and what the fuck? I don't even remember what their names were. Al Bundy.
All right.
Ted Bundy.
Al Bundy.
That's a serial killer. Good job. Good job. But you know, those are the couples that we are like, oh my God, and they're, you know.
Even now, we're watching Parenthood. Now, I love the show. Good show. But it's a train wreck of dysfunction. But I think part of my big question with the world right now is how many people actually watch it and realize it's a train wreck of dysfunction.
Yeah.
And that this isn't normal.
Yeah.
You know, what you're watching,
it's not a good thing.
Crank up the drama.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. It's like, oh gosh, you know, and they're so beautiful because they talk about it. They're so fucked up.
That's right.
You know, the character, what is it, I don't even remember his name. Shit, what's Adam. Adam, who's like who's playing the Steve Martin character in the show. And his wife, right? Yeah, no, the movie was better.
In case you didn't know, but it was based on a movie. Mr. Incredible.
Yeah. Mr. Incredible. Yeah, him. No, not Mr. Incredible. Adam is no. Mr. Incredible is the patriarch. That's funny. Okay, I get you now. No, I'm talking about his son, the one with the kid with the Asperger's. He's supposed to be the healthy one. He's supposed to be the one that everybody goes to and come and fix my problems, whatever. Adam is probably the most dysfunctional one.
That's right. From people who analyze marriages all the time.
From people, I mean, it's like, you know, he would be my identified patient.
Right.
Because, one, he's a rescuer, professional.
Right.
Two, he's wound so tight, he's going to, like, pull a rifle out of his
Of all of his
pants.
Siblings, he has the least amount of insight.
He has no insight most of the time. Most of the time.
Right.
Whereas other people have issues, he doesn't have any.
Right. His two fuck-up siblings have huge amount of insight.
Oh yeah, they know who they are
immediately.
And
right?
you know, and it's interesting because we equate being fuck-ups with failure.
Right.
You know, like having issues in your life and having problems and not being successful as being failures. And you're only a failure if you didn't learn something from it. You know, it's like you're only a failure if you didn't get what that lesson was.
Right.
Whereas in that show, the two supposed mess-ups of the family know what they did, know what happened to them. They are aware of who they are. And then you have the successful one, like Adam, he has no clue. He doesn't get it. You know, his whole life is about appearance, which makes him the biggest fuck-up of the family. But of course, nobody acknowledges that.
Yes. And I don't know whether
I can't watch that show without yelling, God, I hate that guy. Every show. God, that guy pisses me off. That's
I wonder how many seasons they would have to be on to really get that concept.
Right.
That,
no, I don't think they'll ever get that concept because I don't think that they get that.
right.
You know, I don't think that they get that his problem is deeper than everybody else's. And maybe they do, you know, but they're never going to show us that because most people would identify with him.
Right.
And to say that most people are messed up, then, that's kind of like alienating most of your audience, isn't it? Like what we just did right now.
Yay!
Yay for us! Anyway,
Okay.
one of the coolest things that Paul wrote about, I think, started on Tuesday when he started talking about owning your role as husband and as father.
Yeah. Actually, I use the word demand.
Yeah.
And I kind of did that purposely.
Same.
Okay. On Monday I wrote about the PR. That's one thing. That's kind of this cultural thing that we got going. But over the years, women basically as parents have taken the role of parent. And they should, because guys didn't. I mean, it's as easy as that. You're not going to leave the little scamps on the doorway until we wake up and actually begin to become fathers. So, as a parent, as the role, we actually need to take it back. With conversation like big boys that we are, and say the words, but we need to say, I want to be a dad. I want to be in the relationship. I want to, because
Too late.
Well, and because they've been doing it for a long time now. They've been moms for a long time and have taken the role.
This reminds me of my mom. My dad is a wonderful guy, but he's definitely fun time daddy. I would call him that even when I was a child, fun time daddy, because as far as doing anything fatherly, like, disciplining or doing any of the shit work, because that's really what we're talking about. Doing the discipline, the routine stuff. My dad didn't do any of that. But he was fun time daddy. So like we would play. And that's an important thing too.
It is. Yeah.
That's very important too. But it's less parenting and more bonding. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's part of it. It's just not all of it. And
it's also a little bit unfair.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, my mother was the bitch. My mother was the one that had to lay down the law all the time. Until when my brother's younger. I have an older sister and I have a younger brother. And we have a lot of space between us. Like my sister and I have 6 years between us. I have 8 years between me and my brother. So that's 14 years between my older sister and my brother. Mm-hmm. So when my little brother got to be around 4 or 5, like, he's already out of the diapers, all the major on-hand parenting kind of stuff was done. And he was in school already, so he was like 6 years old. My mother basically went up to my dad and said, I'm out, done, yours. And my dad's like, what do you mean? It's like, no, you're handling everything. You're going to the teachers' meetings. If he's getting in trouble, you're dealing with it. I ain't doing this one. I'm done. It would be nice if one of my kids liked me. I mean, I'm assuming that's the meta message.
That's right.
So then that's how my mother basically forced my dad into the role, which he was so ill-equipped for. Mm-hmm. He didn't know what the hell to do because my dad was not a disciplinarian. Not that he needed to, because my brother was pretty much a saint.
He really was.
But the whole thing of having the stones to do things like, oh no, he needs a special class, or no, he needs, this or that, and my dad didn't have that. He didn't have those skills at that point, which made it, he didn't demand it, my mother kind of hoisted it on him.
Right.
In Paul's scenario, he's saying to the men, take it.
Let everybody know.
Yeah. Some men are, and I think that's beautiful.
Right.
I think that's wonderful. It's fantastic. It's about time. Some men are great dads. Some men can't be bothered.
It's good for your mom. I'm sure your dad learned. There are other dads that are physically present but just absent.
Yeah.
Think about. And that's not just a dad fault.
Yeah.
That's
moms too.
Right. That's a society fault.
We don't We don't expect them to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, that's like, moms don't expect it, dads don't step up, the space gets filled, and that's it. That's why I'm using the word demand. It's important.
The thing is that moms know that if it's not, we go by the idea that if it's to be, it's up to me, because
if I don't do it, nobody will.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is true.
I mean, things like, even to this day, we're scheduling things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Paul...
That's your job.
Yeah, and he hasn't noticed that in the last year, I've been kind of letting it go and letting him do it too. He hasn't noticed it. I haven't. Because it doesn't make sense. It's like because he's got stuff, Jeannie's got stuff, Bobby's got stuff, Ricky's got stuff. When you're scheduling 5 people, that's a pain.
Jeannie really has kind of
really broken me, broken me in half. So
I can see where we needed the extra hand in scheduling.
So, but that's something that moms do automatically. They keep a schedule for absolutely everybody in the house, and everybody depends on them to do things like that, because men don't do that.
Right.
And I also said, one of the things I would say, play to your strengths.
Yeah.
Play
that
to your
is
strengths.
really the other half.
One of the things that Paul took over from the very beginning of having children, bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
He's bedtime man.
Because I can do it.
So making sure that the
sleeping
kids
disorders and such.
Making sure that the kids are bathed and in bed. I have a sleeping disorder. I've had it since I was a child. I don't sleep, and when I do sleep, I really need to sleep. And plus the fact that when you pair that to having fibromyalgia, it doesn't make for a good combination.
No.
So when I can sleep, I sleep, and when I can't sleep, I don't. So Paul, he used to be better at it, but can't.
I could sleep, right?
So he takes over the sleeping stuff. Now, as far as, when kids are in pain and whatever, Paul tends to get very frustrated.
Right. Especially if they're nonverbal.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, our daughter has done up to the age 18. And probably will continue. So yes.
And now you know why we want to live close to her when she goes to college. So the idea is that, I handle that.
Right.
So we have taken on, this is my job, this is your job. And, non-verbally and verbally said, okay, back off. I like doing this part.
Right.
So, and as far as playing, we both get to play.
Right. We both get to play, we both get to discipline, we both get to...
Right. Because we get to share the goods, the bads, the uglies, and all that. So, and that's owning the role, too. It's like, I know that when I'm not here, granted, most of them probably won't shower, but they'll eat well.
Yeah, and clothes washing won't be a problem, because they'll be mainly naked.
Yes.
Yeah. But they will eat well.
But they'll eat well.
Very well. Usually steak.
Yeah. And that's usually what they eat, because I don't eat steak.
Yeah.
I make steak, but I don't like steak. But usually when
steak,
I've gone to
maybe some asparagus with it. I mean, really well.
Yeah. And chocolate cake. That's always the dessert is your chocolate cake.
You're not a big chocolate. Yeah.
Cake. I mean, I don't mind it, but I'm not a big dessert. That meal would not. No, it wouldn't work for me. But that's what they do. And he knows that when they're not here, when he's not here, the kids don't sleep. That's my thing. I just don't let them sleep. Yeah, that's not true. No. Whereas I will maintain that routine. Paul, he just doesn't know how.
Yeah.
It'll be like 3 in the evening.
Yeah. It's the morning part that's, evening I'm not too bad. It's that morning part of the routine, the whole breakfast thing, when they tell me that they're hungry. That's why I like when they eat.
You're making me hungry. Steak doesn't make me hungry.
Oh, yeah.
However, yesterday I made empanadas, which were amazing.
Ooh, those were really yummy.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, sorry.
Last thing he wrote about was pride.
Yeah.
I like that one.
See, that goes back to the whole ex-brother-in-law person. He had a lot of pride.
Here's the thing, and this is what I told my sister this week. I would, and this is going on, this is why I can never do it. I could kill the guy. I could still kill the guy. God, I hated him. Still hate him. Guy was such an ass. Because of this stupid pride. I mean, and when I say stupid pride, it's like the kind of person that is on fire and you're going, hey, you're on fire. It's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I know what I'd be on fire. That's the kind of guy he was. And you're like...
Do you want me to get the hose? No,
I'll
get
I'm
it.
good.
If I want it, I'll get it myself.
Yeah, I could do that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, the guy was such an asshole.
Yeah.
Is an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, inability to say the word yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds more like arrogance. Well, that's the thing, is that
It wasn't arrogance because there was nothing behind it.
But in this context, it was, pride really was synonymous with arrogance, laziness, just being
I'm the boss.
Right?
I'm the boss. Yeah, because he was the boss. You know, it was macho. That's what it was.
It really was.
He was Mr. Macho. And I'm the man, and, that kind of thing. And it would make more sense if he followed through. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you actually followed through with things like providing for your family.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm the breadwinner. No, he didn't make any money. Right. He wouldn't even work.
Mm-hmm.
They were married since calculus 17 years of with having,
he
with her all that other
and, our
right. Yeah. I know what I said. I think that as we get older.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm 45. I don't know how many of us walk around believing that you know what you're doing. I mean, talk about having no insight.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm being arrogant. We know we don't know what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We know that we're all doing things by the seat of our pants.
Wasn't that a Socrates thing? What makes me with nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, the moment that pride aside and you realize no clue what I'm doing. I have no being able to make this decision.
But the flip side is, but I'm going to handle my shit.
But yeah, but I handle it.
I'm going to go out there and do what I need to.
And as being a good spouse is being able to go up to our spouses and say, I have no clue what I'm doing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Could you please have no clue with me?
Yes.
And let's do this together. Yeah. I'm taking suggestions.
That's right.
I mean, dealing with all the stuff that we're dealing with our family and the changes and all that, and we have I keep saying 17, an 18-year-old who's going off to college next year. We have.
We know. We don't know.
We don't have a clue. I mean, we went to college.
Right.
But being able to live and let our baby go, and I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to do that. Yeah. And I'm not even going to pretend. It's like, oh yeah, I have to go through grieving. Yeah, I know the ins and outs, and I know what the list looks like, but I don't know what that's going to mean to our family. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it's going to take to keep us all together. I don't know any of that stuff. And God, how incredibly sad it would be if I was alone doing this. Right. Whether it's because he was emotionally unavailable or just not there, period. So.
Just because I don't know doesn't mean that I'm going to sit on the couch and pout about it. A little. But usually I make the big announcement that I am now pouting. Yes. It is now pouting time. I can't do that. I have no lips.
No lips.
Sorry, no lips.
Lipless.
Yeah.
So we can't pout well.
Yes. Most people don't even know it.
Silently pouting in the corner.
That's how come I have to announce it. But that's at some point you need to get out there and handle something. Do something. Whether you know what you're doing or not doesn't necessarily stop you from getting out there and kind of handling whatever needs to get handled. That's always the thing that bothers me with this whole pride thing, is that nothing gets done. In the context that we're talking about right now, we have these guys with all this pride, which means that they're not doing anything. That bothers me. I'm not real good with the don't do anything part. I'm more of a scattershot kind of guy. It's like, if you don't know, put a bunch of stuff out there. See what sticks. You gotta hit something.
Chum the water. Chum the water. It's like, okay, that's true. We do things like that. I'm really, stuck on the ideas. We don't know.
Right.
And so few people say that. Really, so few people admit that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that part of being a good spouse in general is just being humble about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, am I a good wife? Yeah, I'm a good wife.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know half the shit that I'm doing. I think that being nice,
That's important.
being nice to one another,
Mm-hmm.
smiling,
Mm-hmm.
touching, kissing,
Right.
all those nice things. But also just being considerate.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, there's really nothing more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that you don't know what the hell you're doing kind of helps.
I like that. It's true.
See that?
Mm-hmm.
And here you thought that we knew everything.
And with that, we have 2.5 minutes.
2.5
Yes.
minutes. Oh my god. Okay, so in 2.5 minutes, next week we're talking about the battle royale, husbands versus wives. Who's got the upper hand? Who's got the lower hand?
I thought we just made it clear that men have the upper hand.
Oh,
Because we're the head of the household and the boss
yeah,
is completely in control.
yeah.
Thank you.
And possession is 9/10 of the law.
Yes.
And
And
women
women
are
are possessed.
And women are possessed.
Every guy knows that.
It's like, what is it? Men wear the pants, but the women are the ones that gave them the pants and ironed the pants and bought the pants. And
Yes.
so
Yeah, we're going to bring it together.
we're going to bring it all together. There are
Because, yeah.
issues that need to be ironed out.
Yeah.
Big time issues that need to be ironed out. Things need to be straightened out
Mm-hmm.
that aren't straightened out.
Yes. Because a husband can't be a husband without a wife.
Oh,
And
God.
vice versa.
So,
A wife can't be a
No.
wife without a husband. Yeah.
yeah. What
Great
else?
show
you got?
as usual. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And
Anything else going on?
I don't know.
There's so much. Starting next month, we're going to be doing the grieving and the change shows and the moving shows and all that stuff.
Yes, I
So-
did see your email, by the way. God.
I don't get those emails.
No.
I'm not part of this loop. I'm not part of this loop. Why am I not?
Because you don't want to be.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to be.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with me.
Uh,
I like that.
that
I like
was
being
in
kept.
Right. That was a specific conversation. Going back to what we were talking about.
Thank you very much. Kisses to Caesar. Thank you very much for giving. Did you see that? Thank you.
Aw.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
We've worked hard at it, so
Uh-huh.
it's nice. Kisses you, Caesar too. What? What? Kiss my Caesar?
Oh, I don't know whether
Anyway,
we can, but
I don't-
can't type.
I can't type. Yes. So we'll see you guys next week talking about husbands and wives and anything else that we can get in there. Of course not, because it's too early for you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go see the Oscar Mayer Wiener truck right now.
Yay.
So we're very excited about
And
that.
bye.